Hello all. Sorry for the delay. There was some technical issue. Today we have a very special guest here, Mr. Mike Barrell.
Hey, how are you?
Hi. Good evening. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Mike. Yeah, good morning.
How are you doing?
Yeah, very good, very good. My hair's very long because it's not been cut for a very long time, but apart from that, we're very good.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you so much, Mike, for
accepting
the invitation.
And
It's fun. And
first of all, let me introduce you. Mike Barrell, a very well-known person in the ITF, and especially with the play-and-stay. As you all know, Mike is the author of ITF Tennis10s program. He designed the book, and now we have, after eight years, we have the new revolutionary concept called. Thank you so much, Mike. First of all, we want to know how the interest started about junior.
Oh, it's an interesting one. I was a performance coach working with older players, and in my club, we had some questions about the kids program because it wasn't very good. And when I went to look at it, I realized that it really was just entertainment. We weren't teaching the kids very much, and we weren't making it interesting for them. So I said I would take 6 months, and I would go and try and change that program, because that was the change from what I did before with the performance tennis. But then I never went back. It was so much fun, and it was so interesting, and I was so interested in finding out about the kids and what they did, and why they were so different, I think. And then I think 19 years ago I became a father.
Yeah.
My daughter's will be 20 this year, and that kind of made me even more interested, because now I was kind of like always asking questions about, well, why does my kid behave this way, or why does my kid say these things, or think this way, or do those things. So yeah, so I think I was always going to be a teacher, and you know, teach something, and I loved tennis. And then really I ended up just being really interested in people. And I think a lot of us in tennis, we're tennis coaching, we do a lot of things about, you know, what to teach, what, you know, we look at professional tennis, we look at all these different things about tennis, and we forget that if somebody doesn't want to learn, if we can't make somebody excited about learning, then maybe all of our messages get lost.
Right. And that is where you started your the tennis. How did that concept start?
Well, Tennis10s was like, the whole play and stay thing already kind of existed, but it existed in little pockets. And so when David Miley was at the ITF, he said, we're doing all these different things all around the world. It would be good if we just had one standard, so that we knew the industry could make the balls and everyone was talking the same languages. And that's when the red, orange, green stuff started. And then that was, first of all, that was play and stay for everybody. And then very quickly it was, okay, we need to make sure that there's something that understands younger kids. Now, I was working about an hour and a half south of London. And at my club, we had lots and lots of little kids, and we used these balls already. And I also worked for the LTA then. So they asked me if I would get involved with helping to just generally, you know, being on the task force, or to start talking about, you know, how we did this. And I wasn't a federation official, so I wasn't on the main task force, but I was on a lot of the resources writing and the testing and those kind of things.
Right.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's how that started. So I was already sort of teaching that age group a lot and doing a lot of things with them. And then the ITF just asked me. And then I think my first trip out of England was to Hungary in...
Here's the one. Mike,
Mike,
done it. Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, that, like everything, like an iPhone, you know, like there was an iPhone and now there's an iPhone 11. It's like everything has to keep moving forwards. But we never really evolved much of that material. We never really wrote a lot of different things. And that was all about competition. That, if you look at Tennis10s as a manual is all about competition, actually. So evolution became the thing of, what about if we build a whole program, you know, everything? Like if we gave the club the tools to run great competitions, to run great lessons, to run great practice, to run great social, to talk to parents. And so evolution became the thing that was everything, like everything we can do. Like now we're looking at, you know, how we run tennis camps, how we run family tennis, how we can teach tennis to parents and kids together. So it's always changing, always moving forward. It's like an iPhone.
Right. And so you mean to say, it was all about the equipment and the training program, then the competition, because the first thing play and stay says competition drives the sport.
Yeah.
Right?
Competition. Well, you know, we said that I did a presentation once where I said there was the quote was there's no such sport as tennis coaching. You know, like we made tennis coaching a sport. And so competition, yeah, Dave Miley came up with tennis competition drives the sport. And it's true. It's also what I think we need to understand is competition gives value to the sport. So if you're teaching something and the kids are not playing competitions, you have to ask, like, how long will they carry on doing it? Because it has to be valuable to them. You know, it has to be something that's worth doing, especially now, because, you know, when you come out of the COVID situation, everyone's going to have less money because a lot of people haven't worked for some time. So instead of doing maybe 4 things a week or 5 things a week, maybe they choose to do 2 or 3 things a week. So now you have to make sure that there's a reason to take lessons. You know, I know tennis is a popular sport in India and growing in popularity, but to have the right competitions in your club is kind of really important, because once you have the right competitions, you know, it's like if somebody said to you, you know, I want you to learn Spanish, but you're never going to go to Spain and you're never going to meet any Spanish people. There's not a lot of value. It's a nice thing to do, but there's not a lot of value. So that's what competition is for tennis coaches. You know, we think it doesn't earn us a lot of money, but if we put the right competitions on in our club, then at that point, then our lessons become more valuable. And when our lessons become more valuable, more people want to do them, or maybe they want to do even more lessons because they have a reason to do it.
Right. So let's talk about evolution.
Yeah. So all right. So evolution, as I said, is like is a program which we were about to launch in India before the virus hit. 2 weeks. I think I was supposed to come at the beginning of
15th of April.
15th of April. There you go. Yeah. So, and the borders closed on like April the 1st or something like that. And we were going to come and train the tutors to do it. And so the idea of evolution is it's based on 5 things.
Right.
It's based on getting competition right.
Yeah.
What things to teach. How to create great social things, because kids want to make friends. You know, like, you know, it's not a team sport as much like cricket is, but at the same time, people want to make friends. They want to connect. They want to know that there are people there that they like. Number 4 is like match play, like practice, how we run good practices to help their mental skills. And number 5 is how we look after parents.
Right.
And the most important thing with it is that you connect everything together. So if you're running lessons, you're thinking about how those lessons are getting them ready for the competition, how you help them with their social things, how you communicate with parents through those lessons, and how you connect those lessons to practice. Yeah, so it's always about 5 bubbles, but the 5 bubbles are always connected together. And then the really big thing that we have is people say that tennis teaches life skills, but I always say, well, that's not really true. It's like saying everyone that went to school was intelligent. We all know stupid people that went to school as well. Yeah, what we wanted to do was focus on some behaviors and skills that every kid could get from tennis. Right. And I think this is very important for us as tennis coaches to use as a tool to explain to parents how tennis can make the kids more successful in life. So we focus on, we actually have 5, but we started off with 4. So number 1 is respect. So we have reward systems for respect, which are based around, does the kid pick up the balls? Does the kid look after their equipment? Are they nice to the coach? Are they nice to their parents? Are they nice to their opponent and their partners? You know, are they respectful in the environment? And then number 2 is train. And train is always all about, does the kid work hard? Does the kid give all of their effort? Number 3 is about explore, which is, does the kid try new things? Does the kid ask questions, answer questions? Are they inquisitive? You know, do they have like, and then number 4 is about compete. And we say, if you're competitive, you like things when they're difficult. So you have to accept, experience, and value adversity. You have to like it when it's tough. And then we added a new one recently, which is team, which is like number 5 is about like giving things to your community, doing things for other people. So our reward system is based on those 5 behaviors, and those 5 behaviors are things that we give. We have like posters that explain it, but we give like a wristband to the kids to be rewarded for those things. They can win special cards they can use in their matches and different things. So in doing that, every kid can get what tennis should provide. You know, sport was supposed to be designed. Originally, sport was designed to train warriors for battle. Right. Yeah, that was the idea of sport. You know, even before the Olympics and all those things that people talk about, it was trained to get warriors ready for battle. And so, you know, it's quite important for us to understand that it doesn't matter where the kid's going to go. It doesn't matter if the kid's going to be the next, you know, superstar tennis player, or if the kid just wants to be, if the parent just wants the kid to be successful in business and those things. It can still be, oh, sorry, my dog's decided to join us at this point. Oh.
Mike, we have Vishnu here. Vishnu is the Olympian and Danish Kappa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said, how did you get the legend comment? He's my tutor, of course.
I'm not a legend. He just asked. At this time, we have the thing we all have is time.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so really the idea is, you know, if we focus on those 5 things, like I had a mom, I was in New York, and I had this mom, and she came to me and she said, I want my kid to be a professional. Right. And I said, okay, hold on, your kid's 6. I can't tell you if your kid's going to be a professional. Well, I want my kid to be a professional. What do I do? And I said, well, would it be okay if your kid became the CEO of a business? And she said, well, I guess so, as long as it's in Manhattan. Like, so I was like, okay. So I said, look, if we focus on these 5 behaviors, and you think your kid is going to be the next Roger Federer, whoever, you know, he needs those behaviors. Right. Yeah, he needs to be respectful, to work hard, to try new things, and to deal with difficulty, and to work for other people. If he needs to be the boss of a company, he needs those 5 things. Yeah. So now if we do those 5 things in tennis now, and we have a program that really helps everybody grow as a person, and then we can start to, and this I think is very important to parents. Like, it's very important to parents in India, I'm sure, and across all of Asia, because in Asia everyone values education so highly. Right. So now we can say, this is tennis. It helps your child learn these behaviors that will help them to be more successful in their life. And we're not talking about it being in a cloud, like, oh, it teaches you life skills. We're talking about it being real things. Here's our 5 things. Your kid will be more respectful. They will learn to work hard. They will learn to ask questions and be inquisitive. They will learn to deal with difficulty. They will learn to
compete well.
Others, you know. So these are the skills we all want from our tennis players. And so now we built them into evolution, and they become the umbrella over everything we do.
Right. So basically, once the equipment is, we directly go into the behavior. The next level after the tennis is the behavior.
Yeah, I think like, well, tennis10s was a nice start for everybody. You know, it was a good iPhone 1, but it's not now. It's not. There's so many other things. Like I said, tennis10s doesn't teach you how to actually how to teach kids. It just talks about competition. Because when I originally wrote tennis10s, I wrote about how to teach kids and all these things. And Dave said, yeah, we just want stuff to be about getting kids to play. So tennis10s is a good resource for how to play, but it doesn't really talk about teaching. And there are lots of resources about teaching, lots of programs about teaching. That's fine. But this is the idea of evolution is we want to build you a whole program. I always say we want to build the jungle. We want to build everything you need in your program. So if you want kids to keep coming back, and want to come back more, they need good competitions. They need the right competitions that for some kids are not too difficult and for some kids are more challenging. They need to have a social atmosphere. We need their parents to be informed and to understand what's happening. We need to have good practice opportunities so that kids can come, and while they're doing their match play practices, they're learning things, like they're learning their mental skills, like we do in Court Warrior, you know. So these things are important for us. So we're building, when we're working with a club, the idea is to build a whole jungle, not just to build like, this is how you teach lessons.
Right.
Yeah. You could go find out how to teach lessons on the internet. That's just one thing. You know, we have special ways we teach, but there's lots of bits to this. It's like, my phrase is always, what's the most important part of a bicycle? And the answer is every bit. Because you take one thing away from a bicycle and the bicycle doesn't work. You take away the chain, it doesn't work. You take away the pedals, it doesn't work. Take away the handlebars. So it has to be this machine where it's all connected and it's all working together. And if we do that, we know that in tennis, we keep everybody. Nobody leaves. Like the clubs that I work with that do that really well, they keep about 90% of their players. Like they lose almost no one. The clubs that just teach lessons, they keep about 65 to 70% of their players. So you know, we can keep kids coming and we can keep kids doing more, but we just have to do a little bit more as tennis coaches. Yeah.
Right. Mike, what happened here in India? First, initially, we thought the players. No, with like Tennis Express, the adults especially, the players tennis10s as well. There were so many. The participation has been. But then now, because most of them don't use these equipment. They don't use equipment. They don't use tennis academy because of the cost effective. I mean, it
is and it isn't. I mean, one of the ways is learning to teach with less equipment, because people think the coach has to feed all the balls. And you know, when I started coaching tennis, I'm 52 now, and I was 16 years old. So when I was 16 years old, I started coaching tennis. So 36 years ago, my job was, you know, let's say when I was 18 and I was driving my car, I would turn up at the club and I had my basket of balls, and I went on the court and I did my lesson. And the club did everything else. The club ran practice sessions, they did the tournaments, they did everything for me. And then I just had to, all I had to do was teach my lessons. And of course I would, you know, feed most of the balls, because if I didn't feed it just right, it's like if you ask Judy Murray, I remember someone asked Judy Murray, you know, did she use the balls with Andy Murray? And she said, No, because the balls weren't around when Andy was young, when he was little. But the people that were working with him fed the ball right to him, like right to him. And she said, you know, if he was growing up now, he would definitely use the balls, because the balls lets you play a lot faster, you know. So, you know, the balls allow you to get the ball to go backwards and forwards, to get into a rally. And as soon as kids get into a rally, you can be excited. And you know, this is what we know about tennis kids, right? Most kids that play tennis, they come from good families. They're intelligent kids. They do well at school. Their parents push them a little bit. Yeah. So this is a good material to work with. They can use their brains. They're not stupid. Okay. So we want them to play tennis in a way, and learn to play tennis in a way where they use their brains. So if you take, you know, say for example, you want to create more Indian players, Indian professionals. Well, here's the fact. Indians, you know, and we know Rohan Bopana quite well because we went to his academy and had some good time there. But Indian players, apart from players like Rohan, they're not all super tall. Right? They're not giants, right? They're not like necessarily, so they need to be smart. They need to use their hands well. That's just what, you know, we know. So, and they need to use their brains well, right? So if they can use their hands and they can use their brains, they have a chance. So we need to specialize on that. So if you, I remember talking to Rohan about like kids going to Spain, Indian kids going to Spain, and many of them came back because it's not their way to train. It's not like the Spanish way to train is run, you know, muscles, faster, you know, and that works if you have that mindset. But for me, this should work, you know, the balls would work really well in India a bit more. And I know it costs a little bit more to start with, but you don't have to use 60 balls in a basket. You can teach a class of kids, and you can get more kids on a court in the hour, all playing, all hitting, not standing in a line, all growing and progressing by using a few balls each. And that's kind of, it's just a slightly different way of teaching. So you know what? I know it's easier just to get a basket of yellow balls out and feed them, but easier never made you good tennis players. Easier never made you a good product. Like if easier is not going to build you a great vehicle, you just, so, you know, I hope if we start gradually working with people, we can find ways to make this easier for everybody, to show them how they can use less equipment and get more kids playing, and more kids playing well, and make clever kids, you know, because that's what I see. I mean, I talk to Indian coaches. I'm always impressed by them. I always think, you know, everyone knows a lot. You know, we know how many courses all of the coaches have done during lockdown with the ITF. It's like probably number one country in the world of doing courses. Like
it's got the highest number of
everyone's interested in education and learning and doing these things. So let's teach tennis in that way. You can't teach tennis in that way if you feed all the balls exactly to them, because they don't have to solve problems. They don't have to work these things out. And you know what? I'm not a big cricket fan. I'm sorry to say this.
No problem.
I do not love cricket. But for me, if I was a kid in India growing up and there was a chance to play with my friends and play in the street and, you know, sometimes bowl, sometimes bat, sometimes catch, you know, versus a coach feeding me all the balls, I think I'd choose cricket. Yeah.
Right.
But if I can actually get the ball going backwards and forwards, and I could get a game going really quickly, and I could feel like I can serve and rally and play the game, and I could solve problems, I'd choose tennis every time.
Right. I think what's impressive about evolution tennis is not all the the courses like ITF or RTP, they work on behavior, and this is the best part about it. That actually drives me to work more on junior tennis.
Yeah, and that's where, you know, the behavior bit came from. We wanted to do the 4 factors. So we wanted to do tactical, technical, physical, and we have all of that in the curriculums. You know, there's a lot of tactical, a lot of technical, a lot of physical work, talking about how we make the kids good. And there's some simple things we do. We make sure, like, we have principles of like looking at the head and looking at the feet. because very often the head is looking down in physical, and it stops the legs moving properly. Very often the kid is landing with the wrong part of their foot, and it stops their knees working properly. So we have all stuff like that. But when we wanted to do, so we were doing tactical, technical, physical, mental. And then we decided, you know, do we really want to do mental skills for little kids?
Right.
And we went, well, you know what? Maybe we do, but maybe how do we deliver that? So we said, well, you don't do a mental skills session with little kids. Like, they want to play.
Right.
So maybe mental skills is in everything. Like, mental skills are, you know, so, you know, if you can be rewarded for your behavior. So that's how we got to the behaviors. These are the things we need from our kids. This is Roger Federer. This is, you know, like, this is the model tennis player. They're respectful. They work hard. They solve problems. They deal with difficulty. And so then we said, well, what if we can reward them for any tennis activity through those behaviors? Because one of the challenges is, like, imagine if I turn up to tennis at 6 years old and you turn up to tennis at 6 years old, and you have had 2 older brothers and you played in the street your whole life. And my mother, I'm the only child, and she sits me on the sofa and she makes me watch TV all day. So when we turn up, you are an athlete and I'm a little blob that does nothing, right? It's not my fault my mum did that. Right? It's not my fault you're an athlete. It's not my fault that you're going to be more skillful than me. Yeah. So I'll look at you and I'll go, oh, he's so successful and I'm so bad. And I've got no way to be rewarded. I'm not going to beat you in a match, right? So that's tough. And you're going to learn skills faster than I am. So that's tough for me too. So if you reward people for behaviors, those are the only things we can really control. Like, if tomorrow you have to go and play Rafa Nadal, you're going to lose. What can you control? You can control your behaviors.
Right.
And those behaviors, so essentially those create an even playing field. So now I may not be the best athlete. I may not be the best tennis player in the group. I can be respectful and I can win the badge for respect. Or I can work hard. I can win the band for
Right.
training.
The band, right.
And so we stumbled on it. And one day I sat there and went, oh, I've been so stupid. You know, like we all do. Sometimes we make something, we don't realize what it was. And we made this and we were like, this is everything. This is behaviors in competition. This is behaviors in practice. This is behaviors in lessons. This is behaviors around the club. Oh, this is behaviors we can talk to parents about. Oh, this is behaviors we want coaches to be too. We want coaches to be respectful, to work hard, to be inquisitive, and to deal with all the difficult situations and to work for the team. So it just became a light bulb moment, you know, like we went, what we thought we were building was mental skills. What we really built was an umbrella that went over the top of everything. And I haven't seen a single other program in the world that has built-in behaviors like that focuses on these behaviors.
Absolutely. I think one of the finest when you just go through this gave me, I think it's got almost everything from a 6-year-old to, I think in India we can work in about 14 years.
You could. There are actually colleges that use that book.
Wow.
College teams in America. Yeah, they use the cards that we gave you and the book, because what that book does is it's all very practical. It's all on court. We're building an education platform now for Evolution, so that all of the courses can be taken online, like the ITF stuff.
Yeah.
So that you know, you can go and take an online course. It's not released yet, but it will be released at the end of June. So that, you know, that book is really important, because that book teaches kids how to compete. Yeah, and that book as well, because it's called Court Warrior, and the reason we called it Warrior was because the word warrior means someone who has been trained to fight. Not someone who is naturally a fighter. It means someone who has been trained to fight. And the idea was to train kids to understand the tennis process and understand how to fight in situations. So it's probably one of the best things we've done. It's very powerful.
Yeah, and when we talk about the thing evolve, it has four bands, which you just explained. Uh, all those things, which in India, we actually look at players, I think everything is covered in it. It's a complete package.
Yeah, that's the idea. It's like grow the jungle. The jungle only works because everything's in the jungle. It's like, you know, the birds and the trees and the insects and the animals, everything has to work together to make it healthy. And that's the idea of the program. You have to have all the bits to make your program work. And when you do that, you can create, it takes a while. It's not easy to do, but when you do it, you have a business that lasts forever and you have a program that lasts forever.
Right, absolutely.
Absolutely. And it evolves like the iPhone. Like, you know, we're always adding things, building things, making new things, adding new apps almost, you know, and making things better. And that's important.
And apart the first day when we were there for the workshop, you told us about the behavior, especially the boys and the girls. Different. No, maybe up to 10 or 11.
No, it's all boys and girls are all different. Yeah, boys and girls, and that's one of the things I said at the beginning. You know, we think we're teaching tennis, but really we're teaching people.
Right.
And so if we understand we're teaching people, then we have this thing about, you know, and just understanding basics of boys and girls. Like for boys, they're a bit focused on themselves. Girls are kind of focused on everything around them. So girls feel judged because society is judging them. And so, you know, girls want to have special friendships. So tennis is difficult for girls because sometimes tennis makes you beat your friends up. And for boys, beating your friends up is a natural part of playing. You know, we have testosterone in our body at 3 years old. We're pushing each other. We fight with our brothers more violently than we fight with our friends. It's kind of the way we do things. But for girls, they're told be nice, be, you know, pretty, you know, do this, do this, do this. And they're given these messages and they're told relationships are very important. So for girls, it's tough because, you know, and that's why, like on the tour, you see lots of girls who choose not to make too close friendships with other girls because it's difficult to beat somebody if you're their friend. Now, I'm not saying they don't have any friends. I'm just saying, you know, it's like, you know, Serena was friends with Karolina Wozniacki, but we all know Serena's going to beat her pretty much every time. So, you know, it's like that. It's just more challenging for girls. And so there's a lot of different things with boys and girls. Girls, there's a lot of things we talked on the course. We talked about the family, you know, like what's a first child like? What's a second child like? So, you know, first child is very like normally the girl takes more characteristics. If it's the first girl, she takes more characteristics from her father, and the first boy is more like their mother. They take this characteristics this way, yeah.
Right.
But then, yeah. Then if you're the second girl in the family, you don't want to be your sister. You don't want to be your big sister. So you probably will try to do different things and do things in a different way. So maybe now you have to fight for attention. So maybe you're more chatty and this is when parents say, well, I don't understand why my kids are all so different. It's because everyone's trying to get love and attention. Yeah.
Right.
And so if the first one is born and he already gets love and attention, when the second one comes, they have to find a different way to get love and attention. And that's what I mean about us as tennis coaches, understanding people, because then you understand, the first one, I can just teach them like this. This is easy. The second one, maybe I need to listen to them sometimes because they want to talk more or they want to ask more questions or, you know, and very often most top athletes in the world are the first child because the first child is more focused. Of course, there are other athletes who aren't, but it's interesting because like for boys normally get more competitive as you go down. Number one's competitive. Number two's even more competitive. Number three is even more competitive. But actually, as you move down the order, they're less focused. Number one is very focused. Number two is less focused. Number three is normally sitting back going, whatever. you know. So yeah, I mean, a lot of it is, and a lot of our exploration of programming is, what do we know about kids? So in our new course education, you know, we have 2 modules on child development, just understanding how to motivate kids, how they work, how they grow, how they think, because this is really important for us as coaches.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, I have no other option. We have everything designed perfectly.
Well, it's not. It will never be perfect. That's the thing. It's like being a tennis coach. You know, the tennis lesson you did 5 years ago, you won't do that tennis lesson today. You've made it better. Yeah. You know, like
maybe like Dave Miley says, everything depends.
Yeah. I always say, if you had a lesson from me on the serve in the first 10 years of me being a coach, come and ask for your money back and I'll give it to you. Because I was terrible at teaching the serve for the first 10 years, you know? And so it's like we all, if our coaching keeps growing and keeps developing, then the program has to keep growing and keep developing. Otherwise, you know, I mean, who wants iPhone 1 now? Like, everyone, all right, you might not be able to get an 11, but everyone's kind of, it's still a good phone, by the way. It's just like everyone wants to move forwards.
Right. And how do you see, how can we start here in India, especially in my state of Telangana?
Yeah, well, that's what I said. You know, the original idea in India was to train tutors.
Right.
And for those tutors to then go out into their communities in their regions and start working with the coaches. And, you know, once you had been on the course, you would then have access to the resources. And if you wanted to then become, so there's 2 levels. The first level is the foundation level. You go on the course and you get the resources, and away you go. You know, good luck, goodbye, and good luck. The other level is academy level. And this is like the highest level we can do. And this is where, like, so the Vapana Academy is on that level, for example. Right. So in that level, what we try and do is we try and support the club. So we help them with their business. We train their coaches. We now can, because we learn all about Zoom, we now can watch your tennis lessons and mentor you on your tennis lessons from anywhere in the world. Because we now realize you can put an earplug in. We can put your phone on the back fence. We can dial into Instagram or Zoom or Google, and I can hear what you're saying, and I can watch your lesson from the fence. And so now we're kind of, we provide all the resources, we mentor the club, we provide all the training courses and all of those extra things if you're on the academy model. So that's so there's 2 different things. So one is like, if you just want to try it as a coach, you can take the course. Now, I haven't finished the discussions with ITA because everyone's been running around like a crazy person. But we do have a contract that says we're the official program of ITA, but we just haven't managed to get started yet. And so we'll have to look now with the virus thing to go online and do some of the stuff online. And then one of the most powerful things about Evolution is how we create a network, how we get all the people to talk to each other. So right now we have a thing online for home tennis called the EKT Challenge Tour. Yeah, Evolution Kids Tennis Challenge Tour is free. Anyone can join it. Like, any coach can go and use it with their kids. Every week we create like a passport, and we release a quiz on Sunday, 3 activities on Monday, 2 on Wednesday, and then a final on Saturday. And the coaches from all over the world send us their ideas for the games, and we put them on. So this week we're weirdly doing Chicago this week, which is just because it's obviously supposed to be Paris these 2 weeks. We can't do it for 2 weeks in Paris. So we made up we went to a different city the first week of Paris. So we went to Chicago. Next week will be Paris, like Roland Garros. And so they'll download their passport and they can do their activities and score their points and record them and then send them to their coach. So, you know, that came from all the coaches working together and saying, what shall we build during this time with the virus? And that's what our coaches do. They're the ones that build things. We all work together to build things that everybody needs. And if 10 coaches come and say, like, recently they said we need a very good program for camps. Okay, so we're building a program for camps. Last year it was we need a program for preschool and we need a program for schools. So we built the program for schools and for preschool. So that's kind of the way we work. It's always about belonging to the group. You know, just like you've done a really great job on your WhatsApp group. It's like it's trying to create those kind of groups where everybody is helping each other, but we're helping each other all around the world.
Right.
All around the world. And that's where, you know, we can help find each other we can find jobs for people if they need, you know, they need work, or we can, you know, we can advertise people's jobs and find out if anyone's interested, and we can share ideas, and we build the whole thing and we keep it moving forwards.
Right. Absolutely. And who all can take these courses online?
Anyone can take the online courses because we have different levels.
Right.
So we have 7 different levels.
Wow.
But the way it works is it's all modules. So everybody, for example, must take module 1, which is called Introduction to Evolution. So you have to take this module. Then if you want to be, say, for example, you wanted to be, we have one that's called an adventurer. An adventurer is like an assistant, right? So assistant must take communication and organization, and they must take basics of technical and tactical, and then they must take organizing events.
Right.
So those are the modules they have to take. If you wanted to do master coach, there are 15 different modules.
Wow.
If you wanted to do coach, I think there are 9 modules you have to take. If you want to do a junior director, there are 14 modules. Some of those are about off-court things like working with your team, managing your numbers, those kind of things. But it's not like level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. It's like all these bits. It's like a recipe. And you say, this is my job. So this is my job here. And so I need these things. I need this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Put them together. That's what I need. And that becomes your thing. And so, you know, if you wanted to do like master coach, you probably already, if you want to do master coach, you can go straight to master coach. You don't have to do assistant and then coach and then master coach. You can go straight to master coach. Or you can, but if say, for example, you wanted to do assistant and you know, adventurer, and you did those 4 modules, and then you wanted to, later on in 2 years' time, you suddenly found yourself, you've been a coach, now you're asked to run the program and be the junior director. You already did those 4 modules. So now you can just do the rest. Yeah, so it's like that. It doesn't work like, you know, the ITF's ones which are like one whole course, then another whole course, then another whole course. It's all bits. Because this is how we feel like people's jobs really go. We feel like, you know, it has to be based on your job. Are you in charge of the thing on and off the court? Do you just want to be a really good coach on the court? Do you just want, and most of the time with things, it's like, and I know the ITF's changing things a bit, but most of the time it's like, okay, you did level 1, now that was for little kids. Now you do level 2, that's for better players. Now you do level 3, and it goes like, yes, we don't want to do that. We know that somewhere out there we need some coaches who are really good at everything to do with little kids, so we can make great little players, so they become great big players.
Right. Awesome. I think I can share with the others as well.
Of course.
Yeah. So everybody is introduced.
Everything's public. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Because there's quite a lot of friends who actually asked for the link here. They can go and see the whole website and
yeah, of course, yeah. So I mean, it's pretty easy. evolutiontennis.net. But the thing right now, if you're still on lockdown for a little bit longer, I don't know when you're going to come out, but you know, the challenge tour has been very big. We're into our 9th week of the challenge tour. We have kids all in 5 continents doing the tour, and it's just good skill builders for everybody to do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And most important, I think after the lockdown, because we're still not sure about the lockdown, everybody is interested in getting working on the beginners because all the coaches not sure.
Because a lot of coaches, the places that have come out of lockdown, like a lot of like we work with Norway, and Norway's come out of lockdown a few weeks ago, and we had a conference call with all the Norwegian coaches last week, earlier this week, and they said they're full. The clubs are already full, and actually they have waiting lists, and they had to put on more courses because so many of the coaches, so many of the people didn't want to go and play soccer or wanted to come to tennis. So all of it. So I think the interesting thing is, of course, people will do fewer things, but tennis is a really good option for everybody. And we did we updated an article a few weeks ago, which was about why tennis is a great sport, and we added some of the COVID things in there as well. We added the extra things, so it went from like 10 reasons to 14 reasons or something like that. But that's somewhere on the Facebook pages as well. In fact, it's on the website as well to download, because I think we need to be saying this. We need to be reaching out to people and saying, well, tennis is easy. Because tennis is so organized. As coaches, we're on the court, we're telling this kid to go here and do this and do this. And we have so many flexible ways to make this work. So all the bits of America that are opening up, like some of the country clubs in some of the southern area, they're already saying this is their busiest year. They're busier now than ever.
Wow.
And some of the other countries, yeah. So they're really they're already reporting that they're getting a lot more people coming back to tennis, because there will always be some people that don't want to come back. Some people we spoke to said, yeah, we're not coming back to any sport in the next year. One lady said 4 years, and I was like, you're just being crazy, right? But I think more than that, I think we need to be ready and be talking to people, letting people know it's a great opportunity to promote tennis going forwards when we come out of lockdown, because we knew it was such a healthy sport anyway. Now it's naturally distancing, and so we need to be good and ready to teach everybody.
Right. And you've been doing a phenomenal job in posting all your the latest posts on Tennis India.
Yeah, so we have a Facebook group for India, which is Evolution Tennis India. Yeah, so you can join it. It's free. It's not closed down to just the people that are doing Evolution, and we're just sharing everything there as well. We also share it on a couple of the other Indian Facebook groups that we're on as well, but we're trying to share everything there because, as I said, when this as soon as this lockdown finishes and Nal Singh is back on his feet properly as well, because we know that he's got some health issues right now, and we wish him the best. Then we want to work out the best way to get this back into India and get this thing moving, because we have an agreement that we're supposed to be working with India for the next few years, and we've had 2 great trips to India so far, but we want to get it moving, and we want to get Indian tutors and Indian Jedi, if you like. We want to get people who are in their own country, because any program in the end has to be driven by the people inside the country, not the person coming from outside every time.
Yeah, the local people.
The local people have to drive things. Yeah, the local people, the national people. We always joke that an expert is the man who arrived on an aeroplane. Everyone thinks because you're a foreigner, you know a lot of things, but really we need to make everybody else grow and come up with the ideas, because there are cultural things, and only people in India really understand their own culture. You can get an idea. I mean, I'm here in America, and I've been coming here since I was 19, and I've been here the last 3 months. Right. And I can honestly say, I still don't really completely understand Americans. My girlfriend is American. I still don't completely understand it, but I try very hard, and so that's really important for local people to have their voice and to be able to say this works, this won't work here because of this, and so it has to be that way.
Absolutely. I will try and share some of the things which you have shared with me. And the video also will be posted, and I'll share the video with you as well. And all the other the Facebook page and and thank you so much for this. You have absolutely changed the way I have been thinking.
Yeah, well, hold on. Before you say that, the tennis world has changed that, because obviously a lot of people, I learn a lot of things from other people to put in that resource in the first place. You know, like you know, I always remember people say like, was I the guy that came up with the clothespins idea? You know, because we use pegs.
Yeah.
And I said no. The first time I saw it, I saw a British coach called Mandy Franks use it, and I'm always very careful that whenever we do things, we tell people this came from this coach, because we share ideas all the time because of the way we talk. And actually, it's really important that we make sure that we give the credit to where it came from. So I never take the credit for everything that I've come up with, because it's always a sum of what everybody else has contributed to me. We're all responsible for helping each other grow. And when we create those environments, we come up with new things, so it's like that book is yes, we put it together, but it was a sum of a lot of years of listening to a lot of very good people talk. And it's very important that we always understand that they changed what you do, not me.
Absolutely. It's very humble answer.
Just me. I mean, if you talk to my daughter, she can tell you all the things that are wrong with me, to be honest. But it's like it's a great privilege to be given the opportunities that I've been given and where I'm at, and really, we take each thing with a bit of gratitude every day. Really, otherwise, as soon as you start taking it for granted and believing what people say about you, that's when you have a problem.
Absolutely. Mike, just 2 or 3 questions. How long did it take to prepare the Tennis10s Manual, and how long did it take to do the Evolution Manual?
Oh, well, Tennis10s was written in about 6 weeks, but it wasn't the writing part. It was all the thoughts that went on before that. So it's years of working in that space. I worked with little kids for a very long time even to the point where my club had so many families that if we had very old people come to the club, I would send them to another club, because we had kids running everywhere. So I guess that manual was written in 2004, 2005 maybe. So that took a few years of thought, and then I was asked to do it, and when I was asked to do it, it went down very quickly. Evolution is then, of course, an evolution. So evolution is like, it's taken me, I guess you could say it took me, when did we write it? 4 years ago, the first time we wrote it. So it took me 48 years to write it almost, it's like, because it was all the experiences of everything coming together that kept doing it. And we haven't finished. I keep rewriting it. So it's still working. Yeah.
I'm seriously looking forward down to close and back in India.
Yeah, I hope to be back as soon as I can. And for me, it's difficult. I travel all over the world, and I like traveling. And for the last like 3 months, I've been here, no travel. So it's been very challenging. I'm very itchy right now. But on Tuesday, I fly back to England. So that's my first flight back to England. And I'm looking forward to getting out on the road and traveling again and meeting people, because when people ask me what's my favorite country, I always say adventure's not where you are, but who you're with.
Absolutely.
It's always about the people, and tennis people are great all around the world. Even if the country's not pretty or the country's not nice, the tennis people are always good. So hopefully we'll be back soon. And in the meantime, just want to wish everybody real good luck coming out of lockdown, and use the opportunity, because you have a big opportunity to do things, and try to try to be incredibly positive and supportive and understanding, because the world changed for everybody, not just for us. And good luck with what you do.
Thank you so much for
Thank you so much for
all your time.
That's all right.
And,
thanks for inviting me. Thanks for asking me to come on. It's my first Instagram live. I haven't done one. It was easy.
Wow, so it's the credit goes to me.
Oh, there's a question that says, are we coming to Singapore anytime soon? We were supposed to be in Singapore this month.
Actually, after India, you were supposed to travel.
No, we were going on a separate trip in May. We were going to go, but obviously everything shut down. So we will, we'll try and get there. You know, we'll see what happens with the world, but we'll certainly be out and about in Asia as soon as things open up.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thanks.
Have a safe journey.
All right. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
Thank you. All right. Bye.